Hello everyone, it's Shanna. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you've stopped by today. Now today's card we're going to be working with an old kit. It's from October 22. It's called Wonderful Christmas, and it was the stamp and die set of the month. I subscribe to several of Spellbinders Club kits, and that is one of them, and it's an old one, and I'm just bringing it out because I really was wanting just to get a stamp set that I could stamp out and work with some markers. So I'm just going to be laying this down on my MISTI. I'm going to try to fit in all of the floral elements that are part of this. This stamp set has some poinsettias and some floral elements as well as some Christmas sentiments. For example, Merry Christmas, and I'll be using that later in the video. So just getting it on my MISTI. There's a piece of tape on there from the last thing I stamped down because it was lifting, and I think I'm going to use it here as well to kind of keep this in place because those stamps are pretty sticky. I don't think I've used them a lot. Some of them I hadn't used at all, and so they're pretty fresh stamps. I think I may have used them once or twice last year. Anyway, so just going to bring in my Memento black ink and stamp down on there, and just get a good stamping. So these markers that I'm going to bring in are from Altenew, and they're called Tahitian Terrace. And I mistakenly somehow ordered them and didn't know that I had. Turns out it wasn't a bad deal because they were only $6.99 and they did not charge me for shipping, which I thought was pretty interesting. And so that's why I'm stamping this down, as I wanted to play with these markers. They've got like a pin, like a thin pin tip on them, and then they've got a brush tip, and they are, I believe, water-based markers. So, and they come in some interesting colors as well. So I think I'm just double stamping here and getting it, making sure I get it good and black. I wanted just a good solid black stamping on this. Today was library day with the boys, so we went to the library and they had a good time. Had lots of singing and 3 stories and playtime, and both boys just had a really fun time. And then after we got done with the library, I decided we just went to McDonald's, and I took them, and boy, they were hungry. Between the two of them, we've got a 1-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. They ate 7 chicken McNuggets and a whole large fries. They were hungry boys. Anyway, so here I'm bringing in just a little water brush, and I'm just kind of laying some water down on this. And then I'm bringing in these Tahitian Terrace markers, and I'm using the burnt orange, I think is what it's called. I'm just looking at it. The burnt red is what it's called. And then I'm also bringing in the coral berry. I'm just trying to blend. These aren't like my tri-blend markers in which you have different colors. And you don't have that many colors in this set. It's 12 count. I decided to use the pink and the red to get some type of dimension to the card. So I'm doing that on all the poinsettias. And then I'm using 2 types of green. I'm using a hunter green, and I think I'm actually using the, let's see, what color is that? The Volcano Lake on the leaves. I'm going to use 2 colors, but I'm also using the water to kind of help blend. I've never watercolored before, so I'm just giving this a try. Don't know if I'm doing it correctly. I'm pretty sure I don't even have the right kind of paper. This is Hammermill 100 pound. I'm sure I need some form of watercolor paper, but this is what I had, and I wanted to give it a try, just play around with these markers and see how they work. And I think they did okay. Like I said, it's nothing like the tri-blend or even your alcohol markers, because you don't have kind of the color selection with just the 12 of them. But they were good and inky, and I liked the tip on them, the brush. I was able to get in some tight places fairly well. I had a couple spots where I got a little outside the lines, but I think the die cut took care of it. But I'm just fooling around with the colors, bringing in different colors, trying to make this look somewhat Christmassy. I actually did an earlier set where I made it more red and kind of green and yellow, and I actually had put some glossy accents on it and had to wait for it to dry. So I really hadn't done anything with that yet, but I've got it laying on my desk so I can make another one later. But just, and I did speed this coloring up to seven times just so it wouldn't take forever. And then I just die cut them out. I'm just showing you, you know, that I went to my Spellbinder 6 and die cut them out. And I think they turned out pretty good. I like the way they look. Then I decided to bring in another piece of white cardstock and lay behind that same piece that I die cut them out, just because I had them all taped down, and it just would be easy to just take it right to my die cutting machine and pop out a second set of those. I just wanted to layer them up just too thick, just so they'd be a little bit thicker. So they're both 100-pound hammer mill, so I was able to add some volume to them. Now this black panel I embossed with the Spellbinders Hydrangea Bloom, and I love the black panel. In fact, I'm kind of playing around here trying to decide how I wanted to lay things down. And I ultimately decided not to use all of them. I just think it's too busy. For a minute, I thought about just using that one sprig there with the pink flowers and the little black buds by itself, because I just love that black panel so much, and I just thought that it looked nice right there. I thought, wow, you know, you could just leave that panel, lay that on there, and put a sentiment and just let that panel shine. And I was tempted to do that, but I thought, gosh, I spent all this time watercoloring all this stuff, so maybe I should just go ahead and use them. So I'm just fiddling around, moving things around, keep looking, keep trying to figure out how I want it, and trying to decide. So I'm like wiggling around. Can I, you know, should I put this on there? Should I put that on there? Just kind of showing you my thought process as I'm doing it. Spending way too much time trying to figure out what I wanted to do there. But ultimately, I think I decided just to go with those two pieces there. So I think those two are the ones I'm going to use. And now I'm trying to figure out what I want to layer this on. I've kind of got like a lime green paper there, and I was thinking about that. So I was just trying to get a feel for would I like that color with it, just trying to decide. Because of the different tones of greens, I thought that might work, but then I decided against it. I did take the Merry Christmas stamp from the set, and I used my Memento Black ink, and I used some clear embossing powder on it and got a real nice finish on it. Then I decided, well, maybe there's some blue in that green, so maybe I want to use this blue or this teal blue. And I do like that, but ultimately I didn't decide on that. I actually brought in another piece of paper to try it out. I brought in the pink because the flowers are pink and there's quite a bit of pink in there. And ultimately I lay it down on that. But then hindsight's 20/20. I kind of wish I had done the teal. After I got it all glued down and looked at it, I thought perhaps it would have been nice to have done the teal. But anyway, I decided to do this, and so I'm just going to bring in my score buddy, and it's going to be a top fold, so I'm going to score it at 5.5. And then I'll just get my panel laid down on it. And this card will come together pretty quickly after that. I had even thought I wasn't even going to load this video up because I wasn't sure I was satisfied with my results. And I kind of sat on it all day and was trying to decide whether or not to do it. And then I came back to it this evening and I thought, oh, I think it looks okay. And I wanted to show, you know, just kind of show you those markers that I had mistakenly bought and see what I could do with them. But for $6.99 and no shipping, I mean, it's definitely nice to have another toy in your craft room to play around with. So I set this aside for a while, like I said, because I didn't know if I wanted to upload the video. And I got my guitar out and my amps, and I just turned them on, and I just played all kinds of music and went back to some old stuff that I had learned from my instructor, and was just playing around and just kind of burning off some energy, and kind of got that out of my system, and then came back to it and I thought, yeah, I think I'm going to upload this video. So that's where I'm at. So I'm just laying some foam tape on there just to kind of, I always like to do that with my embossed folders just to give it a little bit more stability. I can't talk tonight. And I've just got an eighth of an inch all the way around my card just to let that pink, so it just barely shows through. But it is a card base, so it is pink on the inside. So now I've just got my Barely Art glue, and I'm just going to lay down the pieces that I've decided are going to go on this card. And then I'll just save the other pieces for later. I'm sure I can add them to something. I haven't made a Christmas card in a bit. I went wild in July and made all those. I'll try to link up some of those videos in the description or in the videos so that you can check it out. And I will link the materials used in the description box below so that you can check those out as well, because Spellbinders is having a big sale right now. They've got a lot of things for $1, $5, $10, and they've got their past club kits on sale. So I've got a link on my community page that you can check that out, and I'll link it in the description box below. So now's a great time to visit the Spellbinder site and to check out some things that perhaps you wanted that you haven't gotten, because they should be on sale. I have in one of my Christmas videos, and I'll try to link it up, I've got the Oh Christmas tree, which everybody always says how much they love that tree. Yesterday when I was looking at the Spellbinder site, that was one of them that they had marked down extremely inexpensively. So if you like that, you might go out and get it. So I'm just using some of the Simon Says foam squares that I got in my Be Happy kit for this, and just popping it up. I had to cut some down smaller because it is a fairly narrow sentiment, but I wanted to pop it up. I didn't pop up the floral pieces, so I thought I would pop this up. And man, I'm doing a lot of talking. Probably should have had a little more music in here. You can see I've got the markers all over my hands, so I kind of made a mess out of my hands. I played with them for a while just to try and get a feel for them. But anyway, I really like the way that embossing folder looks on that block. So I hope you like how this card turned out. I think it's pretty. If you do, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye.